welcome back to my YouTube channel, Crops and Crochet. I'm Stephanie. This is Chloe. We are going to get a crochet project out. I already have my coffee because again, it is only like 5:30 in the morning. I have small kids and they wake up nice and early. So we'll see if we can fit in a little chat before one of them wakes up. So grab your project or, whatever you want to be doing and come along and have a chat with us this morning. Okay, so I'll start with I thought I'd do a little like what I'm doing, what I'm reading, and what I'm watching right now, because honestly, I feel pretty impressed with myself. I feel very caught up as far as media goes. So anyways, I'll start with what I'm doing. This is the same project that I was working on in my last video. It's a blanket. I'm making it for my mom. She helped pick out the color and the pattern that I'm doing. So it's a braided wheat stitch blanket, and it is using Karen Blossom cakes in Blue Orchid. It's taking me a little bit longer. I also made this blanket and I feel like I got in the groove of it a little faster, but this one is taking me some time. These puff stitches are a little bit harder to like get in a flow with. Yesterday, I finally hit the flow and I was flying and I felt super excited about it. So we'll see if we can achieve that again this morning. As far as what I'm watching, like I said, I actually feel like I'm pretty caught up with what's happening in or like what's popular right now, which is not normal. Since having kids, I feel like I'm always behind on what the popular things are. So last week, my husband and I actually went to see the Odyssey, and my parents were in town. I'm sorry, I have something on my face. Okay, I think that's better. My parents were visiting, so they volunteered to watch the kids, and we got to go to a movie in an actual movie theater on a Thursday night. It was glorious, and we watched the Odyssey. So it was really good. We both really liked it. We love Tom Holland, and I mean the whole cast in that was like fantastic. And then what are we watching on TV? So we're watching the new season of Ted Lasso that just came out. If you are not watching Ted Lasso, what are you doing? Hopefully you can get access to Apple TV, because Ted Lasso is just such a great show. It's so feel good. It's so happy and funny, and we love watching it. And we're so excited that it was back for a new season. So we watched the first episode of that. It was great. We're watching Ride or Die on Amazon. And it's Hannah Waddingham, who is also in Ted Lasso, and Octavia Spencer. Hannah Waddingham is like this assassin, and she is best friends with Octavia Spencer. But Octavia Spencer doesn't know she's an assassin, and then she finds out, and it's great. So that's kind of what we're watching. There was something else. Nope, that might be it. And as far as what I'm reading, I am reading Beach Read by Emily Henry, but I've been reading that for a few months now. I would say I don't have time, but I don't make the time to read it. I don't prioritize reading it. I did just get a little reading light for my bedroom so I can read instead of scrolling before bed. So stay tuned on whether that habit sticks or helps. I'm listening to Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I have never listened to the Harry Potter books before. So this is new. I am almost done with it. I have read the books a few times, but I have never listened to the books. So that's what I'm listening to. It's just a nice, I've listened to several other books this year already, like new books, and it's just kind of nice to have a familiar story, especially like when I'm crocheting, or I'll listen to it when I'm, walking on the treadmill at the gym or something like that. So I was never a big audiobook person, and it was The Women by Kristen Hanna that got me hooked on audiobooks. I just saw somebody the other day on Instagram made a video about the fact that they did not like that book and they couldn't get through it and they thought it was really sad. And I was just shocked because that book was so good. And since then, I've been much more into audiobooks than I ever was before. If you have any really good audiobooks or physical books, any books that you recommend, drop them in the comments. Let me know. I'll add to my TBR. I don't know how long it'll take me to get through it, but I'll add to it. I will say adding in audiobooks this year has helped me get through so many more books. I mean, just with the kids, it is hard to find like dedicated times to sit down and read a physical book. So that's why last year when I was, still getting up with my daughter in the middle of the night and that I would just pop my headphones in and listen to a book for as long as I was in there, or, every time I would be nursing or anything like that. So it was great for that. And I was able to kind of get some reading in. So that kind of covers everything I'm doing, reading, watching at the moment. Another thing that I was going to chat about is something I feel like I've seen popping up everywhere lately, like just this theme. I've seen several creators on Instagram that have been talking about it, is just the importance or the art or skill of human connection, and how we are so lacking it right now, but how it feels like everybody really wants it. And I know that I kind of touched on that in like my welcome video. I just have noticed that, these creators they're just making time or making a point to talk to people in their everyday life. One person said she limited her headphone use outside the house, and she found that people would stop and like ask her for directions more because she was the only one that didn't have headphones on. Or when, she would check out at a store or something like that, she would actually engage with the cashier because she wasn't distracted by the headphones. I just feel like there's not a ton of connection. I feel like I always try to, find something about someone at times, especially in a situation where you feel like they might feel awkward, or, new parents and their kids are kind of loud or whatever, or just anything like that. I try to just break the ice a little bit because it's almost like we're all in our own individual little silos and nobody wants to disturb each other. And I think I think it's sad. And I think that human connection is a skill. And I think it's one that not as many people have. I mean, you need to like be able to read the situation, read the room. Like, you don't want to be invading another person's space, be able to read their kind of body language and like, okay, they're open to a conversation. Okay, they're not. And I think more people now just don't even try to do any of that. And I get it. Like, that's the world that we are in right now. And technology and everything has gotten us there. But I mean, you have people who are connecting with AI, who are having these conversations with AI because they don't have enough connection with other humans. And I think it's a lost skill. Well, maybe not lost, but a skill we're losing collectively. I think it's so beautiful when people can connect, when strangers can connect over something. I mean, I'll watch some of these videos from these other creators, and it's just so much fun to see them have these conversations with people who are totally different from them and maybe they'll never see again, but they learn something, or they hear somebody's story, or hear a different perspective, or what are we missing out on because we want to scroll our phone instead of talk to the person next to us? It's just something that's been kind of sad. And in my own life, the last week or so, I feel like I've noticed a few examples of this. When we went to the movie last week, the guy who got us our concessions, he was so nice. And my husband was looking at a Spider-Man water bottle because Spider-Man also just came out. And our preschooler, our son, is a big Spidey fan. So he's looking at this water bottle, and the cashier guy made a little joke about it, and then we were just talking and found out, oh, he's a Spider-Man fan, and we ended up buying the water bottle. And he was like, oh, if you guys can fill out this survey, the little surveys they have on the receipt. It's like, if you guys can fill out the survey, it'll get me some points and maybe I can buy one of the posters in the theater, and I'd love to buy the Spider-Man one. And it was just so nice to have that conversation instead of popcorn and drink, to just have a connection with somebody, to learn something about somebody else. I probably won't see that guy again. Did we go and do the survey? Yes, absolutely. I hope Tyler gets his points that he needs to get the Spider-Man poster. But whether or not you're going to see them again, I feel like is not important. I don't know. I just feel like connection is part of the point. We're not supposed to do this alone. We're supposed to have community. We're supposed to be doing this together. And it doesn't need to be, it's not an individual, life is not an individual activity. And so I just would challenge you guys, I guess. And I know it's super uncomfortable at the beginning, but I would just challenge you guys, if there's some kind of interaction where you notice somebody reading a book that you like, or drinking a coffee that you also like, or ordering a coffee that you also like, or anything like that. Maybe you just say, oh my gosh, that drink is so good, right? It will surprise you at the connection that you can have with people over such simple things, such little effort that just helps with those small connection points in the day. And I don't know, just it makes it a better day. It really does. Let me know what you guys think about the skill of human connection and whether we are losing it. If you think you're pretty good at connecting with people for the most part. I know I could be better. What is going on here? There we go. I know I could be better, and I still try to connect with people where I can. But that's my little chatty tangent for the morning. I'd love to hear what you guys think, like I said. But oh, and I forgot to tell you, I forgot to give an update on my garden because, oh my goodness, there is a lot happening in my garden bed. And I will insert a clip. I know I mentioned it before, but I have a very tiny bed. I have pole beans. I did carrots, which I already pulled. I have a basil plant, and then I have 2 lunchbox pepper plants. And there's so much happening right now. Oh, quick story, long story short, the pole beans were not supposed to be in my garden. I thought I planted bush beans. Did I mention it's my first year? I thought I planted bush beans. And then they kept growing and they started to vine. And my husband was like, "How tall are these supposed to be?" And I was like, "I don't know. I feel like they're supposed to be like 18 inches." And then I looked it up online and I saw these Reddit threads and somebody said, "Are you sure those aren't pole beans?" And I'm like, "Oh my goodness." So I went and checked my seed packet and looked it up. And sure enough, I planted pole beans and I had just like 4 pole bean plants without any kind of system to support it. So I rushed to Lowe's. I pulled a couple or cut back a couple of the plants because I for sure couldn't support 4. And the 2 healthiest ones I kept, and then got a tomato cage and flipped it upside down and put it in the bed. And that's been my trellis. And obviously, pole beans can get to like 6 to 8 feet tall, and that I don't have that space. So they have just kind of created their own little bush of beans. And it's been a journey with them. I had Japanese beetles. I had a lot going on. And I was really close to cutting them back a few weeks ago because they looked so yellow and the leaves were so eaten up. And I was like, these are not doing anything. And I ended up adding some fertilizer to them. And oh my goodness, you guys, this past week, there's so many blooms, so many flowers. We've seen so many pollinators. There's been bumblebees in there almost every day. I've seen butterflies, and we have so many little green beans. They're so cute. I'm trying to keep my son from picking them off the plant. He thinks they're adorable and he wants to pick them off and he thinks he can eat them, but they're so cute. They're so cute. And I am just so proud of this plant, guys. I'm so proud of this plant. And I honestly, it's like the little green bean plant that could. I can't believe it's producing that much fruit at this point. So stay tuned for more on that. And I will let you know, if it continues, how much we harvest and all that. I'll keep you updated. And then the pepper plants that we have, I have a ton of peppers. What did I do here? I did something wrong. Hold, please. Okay. The pepper plants that I have a ton of peppers on, and they are beautiful and tall and green and doing great. Ton of peppers, but one of the plants was supposed to be red and one was supposed to be yellow, and neither of them were turning colors. And then I went out there one day and I could see a little glimpse of yellow on one of the peppers, like through the leaves. And I like rushed over there. I was so excited. So that was like one afternoon. And then literally the next morning, I looked out there again and the whole thing was yellow. The whole pepper, not the whole plant, I wish, but the whole pepper was yellow. Now, it was the plant that I thought was going to be red. So I must have had those mixed up. But the whole pepper had turned yellow. And so it just had a few green spots. So I'm hoping to actually cut that today and maybe have it as a little snack. So yes, we have our first color change on the pepper plant. I'm very excited. I'm hoping that a lot more follow very soon because like I said, there is a lot of peppers on there. Now, the one that's supposed to be red, there are a few peppers, and again, I'll put in a clip. There are a few peppers that have color, but the color's like black or like a burgundy, and it's kind of spotted. And like I've seen peppers that look like that before, but I didn't think my plant was one of those pepper plants. I thought it was going to be like a bright red. Let me know if anybody has thoughts on that. if you have any experience with pepper plants. I mean, they look good otherwise, but I'm not sure about the coloring of them. My son keeps saying they're turning black, and I'm like, yeah, but they're not supposed to. So that's my garden update. I think that covers it for today, guys. I think my daughter is going to be waking up soon, so I'll probably wrap this video here. I hope you made some progress on whatever project you are working on, or maybe you just wanted to sit and have a nice cup of coffee with me. And if that's the case, cheers. And thank you for joining me today. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you're new, I hope you'll stick around. Be sure to like and subscribe. Like I said, I'm hoping to do a weekly video. I will see you guys hopefully next week. And until then, take care of yourselves and have a great week.